evening, folks, and welcome to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me this evening back in the studio, and that can only mean one thing: another letter from TV licensing video. Now, in my last video, I showcased this particular letter, which is one that my father received from TV licensing the other month, informing him of the changes that the BBC will be making as of June 2020 regarding the free over 75s TV licence. If you haven't seen that video already, there's a link up now. You can follow that and watch that video after this one, or stop this video, go and watch that one and return to this. It's up to you. Mr H's Hot Pot your way. Now, that video that I did do regarding the free over 75s TV licence did very well. It got something like 10,000 views within the first couple of days, which is very good for one of my videos. Normally, they're a slow burner and they eventually reach that sort of number of views, but sometimes it takes months, even years, for them to receive that kind of attention. So a big thank you to everybody who's viewed that video, anyone who's left a like on it and left a comment. It seems there's a lot of people out there concerned about the changes that the BBC are going to make in scrapping the free over 75s TV licence. After all, we're all going to turn old one day, aren't we? So, like I say, big thank you. That was that letter. On to this particular video. Now, it's the turn of my father-in-law to receive a letter from TV licensing, and it's his renewal letter. Now, before I go any further with this one, my father-in-law has no real interest in becoming legally licence free. He enjoys watching television and he's willing to pay for that, so that's fair enough. I've got no issue with that. I respect his choice and he respects mine. That's why he's allowing me to read this letter out here in this video. So we'll take a little look at this now, because whilst it's not a threatogram in its own right, it is an interesting letter to take a look at, because for many this is where the legally licence-free journey begins. With this particular letter, once it drops through, people read it, they see that it's gone up and they think, is it worth, renewing the TV licence? In my opinion, no, it's not. There we go. So, like I said, we'll take a look at it, and it'll be interesting to take a look at the language that's in this particular letter, because it's not a threatogram, so I don't expect them to threaten me with £1,000 and things like that should I not renew my licence. So, I'll just wet my whistle again. There we go, and we'll crack on. We'll start with the envelope as always. As you can see, this one's white. We've got the TV licensing logo here, and then we've got a bit of a slogan underneath the window here, which says, "Quick, renew, simple, easy, convenient, TV licensing. .co.uk. Now, it's not that that's a catchy slogan, it's simply on the back as well for some reason. This particular letter has come from Darlington DL98 1AT, which is where this one's come from, and all the threatograms, any correspondence that comes to you from TV licensing comes from DL98 1AT. Bit of a fun fact for you out there, Hot Potters. If, when you're bored sometime, drop that postcode into Google Street View, and it drops you in the middle of nowhere. It sort of puts you outside, I think it's a block of flats somewhere. And there's no actual building that says TV licensing on it. Why they've done that, I don't know. Whether or not once any mail goes there, it just goes to a PO box or a drop point, who knows. But yeah, something for you to try when you're a bit bored. Anyway, on to the letter. So, it's the usual standard layout for TV licensing. You've got my father-in-law's name and his address in the top left-hand corner. You've got the TV licensing logo in the opposite top corner, tvlicensing.co.uk underneath that. Then it's got the date underneath, which is the 28th of June 2019. It's interesting that the renewal letters actually have a proper date on them. Normally, any letters will just have a month and a year. Then it goes on to say, renew now to enjoy another year's worth of TV your way. I think they've stolen that saying from Burger King, haven't they? Have it your way. That's in bold, and it's in that bluey type of grey writing that I mentioned in my last video, which is sort of there to make you sit up and take notice, but it's none too threatening. It's not like it's red or orange, you know, it's there, but it's saying, you know, this is important, please read. It goes on to say, Dear Mr H's father-in-law, your TV licence expires on the 31st of July 2019. That's in bold, to make him sit up and take notice that his licence is about to expire. So renew now and you'll be covered to carry on enjoying another year's worth of great viewing, including live TV on any channel as well as BBC programmes on iPlayer. Renew your TV licence now. That's in bold, and it's in that bluey grey type of writing. You can renew your licence at a pay point. We've attached the details you need below. And then there's like a little slip underneath which says how to pay for your TV licence, which I should imagine you present at a pay point along with cash or a card or whatever. And it's as simple as that. You know, you get a 12 months of great TV viewing. Or renew in minutes online. That's in bold and it's in that bluey grey type writing again. You can also renew your licence securely from the comfort of your home. Just visit our website at tvlicensing.co.uk/renew. Renewing online and going paperless means more of your licence fee goes towards funding BBC services on TV, radio and online. And it also means the BBC can fritter away even more money, doesn't it? Any questions? You'll find more information over the page. Yours sincerely, Jackie Garswood, Customer Service Manager. And then down the right hand side it's just got renew your TV licence. It's got the date again, expires 31st of the 7th 19, the TV licence number and the amount due, which is now £154.50. And all in all, that's it basically. It's a pretty vanilla letter for TV licensing. No threats of a £1,000 fine, no threats of a court appearance or a criminal record, none of that. It's very friendly. It's trying to give the impression of, hey, sorry to bother you, you know, Mr H's father-in-law, but, you know, unfortunately it's that time of year again and, you know, we've got to ask you for money again. You know, it's trying to give you that impression that it's friendly. I'm sure should my father-in-law fail to renew his licence by the 31st of July this year, the next letter that follows will be a bit more stern, both in appearance and tone. Now, it's the back that I'm more interested in this letter, which, as you can see, is there. Lots of writing there. Now, it's got the usual rubbish of how to pay, different ways you can pay, phone, online, etc, etc. It goes on to say, you know, you can get a concession if you're blind, all that kind of thing. What if you don't need a licence? We'd like to stop writing to you if you don't need a licence, so let us know if you never watch or record programmes as they're being shown on TV or live or on an online TV service, and you never download or watch BBC programmes on demand, including catch-up TV on BBC iPlayer. This could be on any device. It does go on to give you the little threat. We may confirm this with a visit. So they're using some of the standard template there. But basically, it's stuff that we've seen before. It's this little bit at the bottom here, which is the reverse of the slip that you would take to a pay point that I'm interested in. Because it goes on to tell you about your TV licence. Normally, you don't get to see this bit. And one part that I'm interested in is what the TV licence actually allows you to do. And according to this, it states that it allows you and anyone who normally lives here, which means the address over leaf, can use and install TV receiving equipment here at the licensed place. Use and install TV receiving equipment in vehicles, boats and caravans, except non-touring caravans, when someone is watching or recording TV at the licensed place. Now that's an interesting one, because my understanding was always that if you lived at an address and you had a TV licence and you was away, say, in your caravan somewhere, provided nobody was watching TV at your normal address, you know, whoever was house sitting type of thing, or if you'd left your kids there while you'd gone away, they couldn't watch TV at the same time as you. One of you would be breaking the law, but apparently they've realised that you can't really enforce that, so a TV licence allows you to be able to view TV at both places. So that's an interesting thing. Use TV receiving equipment anywhere on any device powered solely by its own internal batteries. So that means you could go out in the street or to a McDonald's, and as long as you've not plugged it in to a power socket, you'd be covered by your own licence. Now, reading that, if you want to split hairs, because that's what all this is about, there's so much confusion about what you can and cannot do with a TV licence, that it's interesting to just break it down. And what this means is, if my wife, my father-in-law's daughter, decided to visit her dear old mum and dad, and she thought to herself, I'll take my iPad or my iPhone or a laptop, and I'll download an episode of whatever off the BBC iPlayer, she wouldn't be allowed to do it. However, if she gave it to her dad and said, here dad, plug that in and download that for me, that'd be fine. It's silly, isn't it? It's just silly, the rules and regulations that follow. And the problem is, with the TV licence, is whenever the first one was introduced, I think, was it something like the late 40s, something like that, I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong underneath, they set out the rules. And back in the day, probably up to about the 70s, when the first, video recorders started coming out, late 70s, early 80s, the big top loader ones that look like a breeze block, there wasn't really much you could do with a television set. It did what it said on the tin. It either showed pictures or you watched static, unless you was doing one of those EVP things, trying to see if the dead would talk through your TV screen or something like that. There wasn't much you could do. So the rules covered it. As things have evolved, the BBC have just tried to bolt on other rules to it until it's just become a complete and utter mess. Once again, I've said it before in my last video and I'll say it again, you need to go subscription, BBC. It would end all this problem. Obviously, my father-in-law's willing to pay for it, and there'll be many more out there willing to pay for it. And the rest of us here who don't want to pay for it will be left alone, wouldn't we? Well, that was it. That's the renewal letter. Like I say, it's pretty vanilla, and it's non-scary. But I am sure that if my father-in-law didn't follow this advice, they will be knocking on his door pretty soon, really, marking time and wanting to take a look at his setup. Right then, I'm going to get off. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I say, it was just a quick look at this. The reason I'm not reading out any of my own letters from TV licence, they simply don't write to me anymore. It seems they've given up on me. But you never know. Never say never in this game and all that. So, until the next time, bye-bye for now.